U.S.-led coalition airstrikes continue to hammer at major sources of revenue for Islamic State terrorists. Bombs hit a key oil-producing area along the Syria-Iraq border. And in London, Parliament voted overwhelmingly to authorize British airstrikes in Iraq. Top U.S. officials welcomed that news, saying a broad coalition is key. CCTV's Sean Callebs joins us with more details. Sean.
And that coalition is busy even at this hour, Mike. We know that there have been airstrikes just recently in the Syria area, and that doesn't surprise anybody considering the U.S. said it's going to go after ISIS where it lives in terms of going after oil refineries and also after those targets that present themselves, such as armor or troops being out in the field. Meanwhile, those attacks will not be limited to, back up just a second here, the Great Britain today has announced that it too is now going to join in these attacks, but these attacks are not going to be limited, will rather be limited to Iraq at this point. Here's more on how this all developed today.
The U.S.-led coalition is making it clear the Islamic State can expect airstrikes like these to continue for the foreseeable future. The United States and a handful of Arab nations are targeting IS command centers, oil refineries, to shut off the terrorist ability to generate funds. But again and again, U.S. military leaders have said it will take more to rout the Islamic State.
The answer is yes. There has to be a ground component to the campaign against ISIL in Syria.
However, the U.S. is adamant that it will not get sucked into another prolonged, unpopular war in the Middle East. The United States is going to spend $500 million training Syrian rebels at bases in Saudi Arabia and Iraq. American military leaders say they are ready to begin the vetting process immediately.
Now that we have the support of Congress, we are moving forward with our plan to train and equip the moderate Syrian opposition.
The U.S. believes it will take 15,000 ground troops to have a realistic chance of degrading and destroying the IS. The American-led coalition is counting on Iraqi and Kurdish forces, along with Syrian rebels, to do that fighting. Great Britain is sending its Tornado fighter jets to the region. Today, British Parliament voting to join the coalition and take part in airstrikes in Iraq, vowing to steer clear of the Islamic State in Syria, at least for now.
ISIL needs to be destroyed in Syria as well as Iraq, and we support the action that the United States and 5 Arab states have taken in Syria, and I do believe there's a strong case for us to do more in Syria, but I did not want to bring a motion to the House today.
Denmark, Belgium, and the Netherlands are also committing to the coalition, which the U.S. says now tops 60 nations. But not all people in the region are supporting the way the fight against the Islamic State is being framed.
The United States is making a big plan, which is said to last several years. The action is not just anti-terrorism, it aims at adjusting the structure of the whole region to meet the interests of the U.S.
British and U.S. leaders are trying to brace their citizens for reality. The effort against the Islamic State will be measured in years, not in months. And while they promise ground forces will not be pushed into the theater of war, they aren't ruling out more advisors and trainers going into Iraq. When it comes to President Obama's pledge to destroy and degrade the Islamic State, U.S. officials say they are at the beginning of operations, not the end. Mike?
All right, Sean, thanks so much.